on behalf of the Mindalia TV team, welcome to Mindalia live streaming. It is a pleasure for me to introduce you to Diego Restrepo. He is a tarot reader, medium, emotional healing therapist, and the conference that he's about to offer us has been named Discover the Impact of Emotions Through Tarot Reading. Before starting with him, I just want to remind you that if you want to enjoy our content, you can go in an audible way. You can go to www.mindaliaradio.com. We are offering you there 24 hours of consciousness. And just to remind you that we are Mindalia and we are an international nonprofit organization. You can help us by very simple things, just liking, subscribing, leaving us a message, leaving us a comment. It is now my pleasure to leave you with Diego Restrepo. Diego, welcome to Mindalia, today in English.
Oh my God, thank you. Thank you so much, Mirna. Thank you so much, Mindalia, and to all of you watching this live stream at this moment throughout all the Mindalia platforms worldwide. It is my pleasure to introduce myself and to tell you that today I am kind of fulfilling part of a mission that was given to me a few years ago after being through a very emotional process, after having had in my life 3 different experiences dealing with death, 3 near-death experiences in which I have experienced what it is the over there that is actually not that far away. It's pretty much the same place as this one, only that we are sharing a same space in a different existence. The emotional mentoring and the impact of emotions in our lives is amazing. Everything we do, every day-to-day action, everything we express are actions, regardless whether they come from a place of fear, joy, gratitude, anger, sadness, or any kind of emotion. The only problem with that is that many times in our lives, we go wishing that one thing, caring, looking up for something, preparing to experience a difference in our lives, but we end up doing the same very things and ergo obtaining the same results. The 3rd time I had this near-death experience, I was given this mission to tell as many souls as possible that there is a way of knowing, there is a place on which the souls who have passed through this existence and maybe have shared with you your own existence, your very own existence, have a special message to deliver. And I act as that, as the antenna, as the delivery guy who brings that message to you. This 3rd time, I experienced a 10-hour surgery and intensive care unit for a long time. I had the opportunity to obtain the revelation of knowing, because believe it or not, when you know something, you free yourself from that. The root of many things that happen to us come from fear, not knowing, and being worried all the time or sad for what happened, or worried about what might happen, is taking us from the magic that happens when you connect yourself in the present moment with the essence of your presence today. And that is maybe the major takeoff you can have from this conference. From the transcendence, as I like to call them, they in many sessions have told me, who people were dead, that they don't like being called dead. That is a really harsh word. And it's funny because when you are during a session and you talk to someone you loved while that person was alive, then you kind of become reactive and you get afraid of finding out that spirit. It is funny, I say, because the person you love through your life, if you were married to that person, how come will become an evil spirit? Or how come will it become something really difficult or dark to find out and reunite with that love, with that energy, with that self again? So I discovered through this revelation that I have the capacity, the gift, the mystical approach. I'd like to call it like a capacity or a gift. The present I received when I was born to be able to contact those beings, those souls, those energies, and deliver through the tarot what are the major emotions that are affecting our lives. We pass our lives repeatedly systematically repeating what we learned while we were programmed. Yes, we were programmed through the age from 3 to 7. All our life was programmed in terms of beliefs, needs, desires, wants, and achievements. So by the time we were 7 or 9, between those years, we suddenly are like reborn into life to establish links with society, making friends, maybe falling in love, achieving a graduate degree, and then another degree, and then university degree, and then master degree, and then PhD. And we keep collecting things, house, cars, husbands, wives, partners, kids, etc. But we end up at some point in our lives kind of asking ourselves, okay, now I achieved what I was supposed to achieve, what my parents or my grandparents or whomever caretaker was taught me that life was meant to be in order for me to be happy. But now that I have those things, I'm not happy. Now that I achieved those things, I feel emptiness in my life. And now we start regretting what we have done, the little time we have left, or we think we feel we have left. And the need comes from within, asking ourselves, okay, what can I do? In what point in my life did I change my plan? And there comes emotional mentoring to say, I found a way. I found a way on which the tarot cards, these mystical, beautiful messages from the transcendence come in terms of figures, drawings, or images through my mind, to my head, and through my hands in the expression of major arcans. I do read major arcans because I have found that they possess so much wisdom, and they always have this beautiful message to deliver to you. And in one session, you and I, and the transcendence, kind of agree on what was that thing you were supposed to be doing in your life. What was the path that you signed? What was the contract you signed before being born in this life? And then suddenly when you click, I love this word because clicking is understanding. When you go back to that point and say, yes, Diego, now I remember that when I taught my father I was going to be a successful surgery as it was, I suddenly changed because I always wanted to be an astronaut. You don't have to be an astronaut by the time you're 50, of course, but you can know what lies underneath the fact of being an astronaut. Maybe an adventurous person, maybe a person who has to do more research in order to find something that is going to be given to you to help humanity, pretty much as doctors, medical physicians do. So it is not necessarily wrong what we have done, but once you find out what it was that you were meant to be doing, then you understand, and by understanding comes freedom. So a very important thing we need to talk about at this point is the difference between wanting and wishing. Everything you say, every one of those 95,000 thoughts you have during any 24-hour period in life possess a very deep emotional charge, energetic charge. And every expression that comes out of your mind, believe it or not, through your mouth, is making, let's say, a conjuring. It's saying if you're delivering a formula on which the universal energy will give you what you want. So we have to be very careful about those things we want, because if you realize every single day we want new things. And to me, it comes during the sessions I have with my patients that we want a car, we want a different relationship. I want to heal my body. I can't stand this headache I have every time I have to deal with my 3 nieces. I can't stand, and then we suffer from, like knee pain and legs pain. I can't stand my husband. And then we keep wanting to change. We wait and we stop whatever it is we want, we really desire as a celestial, as an energetically emotional plan to do, in order to wait and see what happens. We wait too much. The advice Transcendence has for us today is stopping. It's funny, I know it sounds redundant, but we have to stop stopping. We have to stop postponing. It is time to take action. It is time to open up our minds and heal through the understanding of emotions. So this is beautiful because, like I was telling you before, in one session, we realized that we don't want too many things, that what we really should be doing is getting to understand our wishes. You know, it reminds me of the time a very old tale tells about, you know, this magic character who comes out of a lamp and allows you 3 wishes. If you were only allowed to have 3 wishes, what would they be? Maybe the other relationship that works wouldn't come in mind. Maybe happiness, maybe the fulfillment of my life purpose will become a better wish instead of just wanting another relationship. So I have found that there is so much power in the words we express, and there is so much wisdom in the advices that we get from transcendence, that it is so healing, that it is so liberating and so magical. You know, tarot cards have been used in humanity since late 1500. And in 1800, it actually kind of became quite openly used as a fortune-telling method. I have discovered, and I came in touch with the first tarot cards by the time I was 13 years old, and they are still with me. And I say I came in touch with them because they kind of found me. And you know, tarot always chooses you because they know that they are exactly the kind of cards that you will interpret better. So it's beautiful because they have been with me, and every time I look at these major archetypes, I discover new things. They are graphical representations of a scenery, of an action somebody's doing. But when you are in a session, you as channel, you start listening the words exactly as described on the photo, in the picture, on the image, that you need to translate or transmit to the person who's at the other side of the camera. So that is the magic of it. And also when we know how to heal our bodies, because maybe if we stop thinking that much, we won't be paralyzed. You know, the excess of analysis causes paralysis. So if you overthink, you stop doing. If you, how many times, I ask you this question, how many of you have signed into a gym? How many of you have started a diet and go through the yo-yo effect? How many of you have gone to a restaurant and never asked for a different order, or never ordered a different plate? Because we love, and our minds love keeping us on the comfort zone. Feelings come from exactly that. There's a huge difference between an emotion and a feeling. Every time I feel, I am reacting towards an action, towards something that happened to me, and make me react and make me feel X, Z, or Y way. But when you connect to your emotions, and that's what I do, that's what I live for, to unplug people from feelings and start reconnecting them through emotions. Because when you know that this emotion, for example, fear will feed an instant desire to eat, then you change your relationship with the fear that produces that reaction on the feeling of craving. And you stop craving, and then you stop doing diets, because the function of food becomes a nourishment instead of just a satisfaction of a need. The mind loves putting needs in our heads. The mind loves making us believe that we need and we have to do this or that in order to satisfy a feeling. When I grab the emotion that is producing those thoughts and those feelings, then magic, as I like to call it, magic happens in your life. And you stop wanting that husband, that partner, that wife, that magically will change your life. And then you discover that maybe if you marry yourself, and if you commit and you take the votes in front of a mirror, then you put yourself out first. Then you stop seeing yourself as a magical, wonderful, loving person, and then you spread it towards every single person you come in contact with. And then magic happens. I assure you, you find that person. You find that other human being that is fulfilling your destiny because it is aligned with your own contract, with that you signed at the beginning of times, with the same emotion that comes from the source of energy that we all come from and we will eventually return to. So having said that as well, I can tell you that tarot reading, channeling these days is something that is quite in vogue and everyone's talking about it. I have a very close group of people or friends, and we discuss subjects like this. And it's funny because I am different in the terms of I have been living a very normal life, even though I knew from the beginning of times that I had a special capacity. So life took itself in charge of putting me here today. Life taught me through not once, not twice, 3 times being clinically dead, to take me to a very special place, surrounded by people I have loved, I have known, and an amount of energy that is all about emotions. There is no past, there is no future, there is no present, there is only the essence of you in that moment. And I can take you anywhere you want. It moves you with the power of thought immediately to a special place or moment that you need to remember in order to heal and succeed in life. So I came back, and 5 years ago, well, 3 years ago, I had the surgery. 5 years ago, I was woken up. I was awakened at 3:33 in the morning, and I still remember that moment like it was yesterday. I was awakened, and someone I know already told me, okay, Diego, it is time for you to start. It is time for you to move on. And it's a paradox, because that was the time on which I thought I was going to be paraplegic from the neck down. And yes, that is a very weird kind of illness you get. But clinically, I shouldn't be here, honestly speaking. I should be like from the neck down, totally paralyzed. And being part of the medical science miracle, and also knowing that during 10 hours, there was so many transcendent souls helping you, and like be cheerleading your healing, cheerleading that you were gonna be that channel through which they were be able to tell your story and to heal others. It was amazing, and it has taken quite a toll on me. It has taken a very special toll, because once you come out of surgery and you, especially, doctor tells you that you are supposed to be recovering, I realized that I was meant to be reconstructing, rebuilding my life. So I may not have been totally recovered, because eventually I decided to start rebuilding, to realign myself to that very special contract I signed, which I had the chance and fortune of being able to read and to see, and saying, okay, I open up now. Here I am. Do through me. Use me and show me the way. And believe me, the fact of me being in front of all this fabulous, magical, emotional audience is part of that. This is a very emotional conference for me, because it touches as well very deep parts and fibers of my soul. That also because it allows me to tell you that we have the necessity and the need to fulfill our destiny. Please think for a moment. What is it that you want to change? What is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you would love to heal inside of you? Take just one moment and don't think too much. Soul always knows best. So whatever comes in mind first, that is the very precise thing you have to change. That illness, that pain, that craving, that unstoppable addiction you have, and you think it will join you for the rest of your life, can be healed, can be changed, but not by repeating the same processes. On a basic, let me tell you this. On a basic year, I was meant after surgery to take 5,110 pills. just to be able to walk again, just to be able to overcome daily, every hour of the day through this painful situation. And it was meant to be done like for my lifetime. Part of the reconnection I had and the rediscovery of emotions was that I had the revelation from a very important, energetic soul and being to tell me, Diego, don't take that pill. And it is very mystical because it happened to me on December the 24th. For those of you who might follow this very precise religion. And that December the 24th, 3 years ago, I said, okay, I will not take this pill. And since then, and the reconnection with my inner emotions and energy, I am able, even though I still have the same sequels, to talk, walk, and move even better than I used to do back then when I was taking these pills. So I'm not saying that medical techniques or science is wrong. Of course it is not, and I am a proven example that this works, but also to tell you that there is a B option, there is an option, there is an alternative. You can reconnect with your inner emotions. You can find out that love comes from the combination of 3 emotions. And when you start feeling at this level that maybe the person you have at your side is not the one, then by reconnecting to your emotional level, you see with much certainty and clarity what this person is intended to do in your path. And once you know and you free yourself from that feeling of, uncertainty or like sadness or fear, then magic happens. And then you bring and it approaches to you the right Mr. Guy, the Mr. Right person or Mrs. Right person comes and finds you, because that's what energy does. Energy reads itself, and energy attracts exactly the same vibration of energy. So if you're going through a process of difficulty, of not finding the right partner, of not finding a better well-being, of trying this and that technique, or sending resumes to find another job, maybe it is so important to stop, to reconnect with your emotions and ask for this revelation, this magic to happen in your life. And sometimes not doing is the best thing we can do in order to know what to do. But we keep ourselves so busy. Busyness is one of the major addictions society has these days. We barely take time to listen ourselves. If we are alone, we turn the TV on, we watch on Netflix, or we eat some popcorn, or we take some soda, or we listen to some music, or we do exercise, or we go shopping, we go to Amazon. We're always doing something, even though we're alone. And 2 years ago, we know what alone for a long period of time it's like. We always have to be doing something. So busyness is one of the major issues, and that is so contagious, even more than some viruses. So if you take time alone, and really alone, but never lonely, you start connecting with that, with your true self. And in that moment, some people can meditate, some people can do yoga, yes, some people can go to the gym, but it is always at the end of the day being busy. So my suggestion and what really worked for me was, I know it sounds fun, but was just listening, was looking at a leaf, at a tree leaf. I took a tree leaf and I looked at it for, I don't know, the YouTube video said that for 30 seconds, I ended up doing it for 30 minutes. I discovered so many wonderful things in that simple leaf. And then in this leaf, I also found the color and the essence, and I almost kind of got to see how it moved, how, the chlorophyll moved through it. And it is so beautiful because it took me back to a very special place in my life. When I was a kid and I was walking down, a hill, and I saw so much greenery. And then I decided to start, planting trees and making something better out of nothing. And that's what we are. We are wizards, we are good witches in the sense of we can move energy and we can make it flow. It is part of our destiny. It is part of our life mission to make something valuable, to bring a change to someone or to the planet or to Earth or to, we don't even know who's looking at us. The person that delivered to you that this afternoon, that lunch, maybe by showing some gratitude, maybe by sharing something special, that made a huge impact on that person. I remember one session I had on a person who was going through a very hard time because one of its children were having like thoughts of finishing or ending its life. This person was overhearing our chat conversation, and it is so beautiful because a couple of weeks after, she comes to me and says, "You know what, Diego? My son was listening to the conversation, and he said that maybe because he heard something that you said, he has changed. He decided to, have a different approach to life." It is exactly the case of a person. I don't know if you have struggled with food or like weight, but it's a person who eats systematically after a breakup, who is eating systematically after a fight, who is systematically eating afterward. Those are the escape valves we have, that once we say, hey, this craving comes from a different point. So if I get rid of the feeling that emotion has and impacts my mind, then I also can change the need to eat and have these cravings, and the cravings are gone. And now this person is saving, first of all, a lot of money. Second of all, is feeling so much better about herself. And third of all, found love in her life, because when you feel better and when you stop systematically doing what brings you more of the same, then emotional, magical, beautiful things happen. And that is one of the proofs that show that these sessions, this system works. It also works at the same of living in general. It works on the same of of selling a house, for example, or establishing a business. Because if you start a business thinking in terms of money, and that money will bring more of the same, I repeat, then it will not be profitable, or might not end up having a happy ending in terms of establishing and being successful. So when we change the way we relate to the business and through money, especially, money is something we as society are putting so much intention and so much effort in achieving, and obtaining and saving. We say saving, but some of us are just in terms of greed, keeping it like hoarders. If we open up and we simply let it flow through our life, and we take money as a way of fulfilling a destiny and helping others in the process, then guess what? You end up having the most profitable, wonderful, and happy job you have ever done. And life, cosmos, universe is telling us since a couple of years ago that we need to rethink the equation. We need to change some things in the formula, because money does not have to come from the source of our work. If you are unhappy 8 to 10 hours daily, how come you expect to provide happiness and to bring joy and to find pleasure in whatever else you do throughout the day? So when we start doing things with our own hands, when we take charge and we take the will again back, we go back on track. We get back into the road that will lead us to a happy, most wonderful ending place, which is actually the fulfillment of our life. So I can tell you, this has been a very wonderful experience for me. It's been over 10 years already of doing tarot readings, and I would love to have the chance to share my experience with you and show you as well how this emotional mentoring works, and how connecting with the transcendence is even easier and most wonderful than you think, and has no mystical, magical, weird kind of dark side going on. Many people do it, many people tend to come to you, approach and say, hey, I have this capacity, and there is this old woman close to me saying something really about money. Of course, we all know someone who's old and who's a woman who has dealt with money somehow in their lives. What is beautiful about this process when I do it is that I connect, that I connect with what I call the fifth body, which is the the emotional body will have, and start like unfolding this kind of lectures, this kind of messages that come through and pass through my head, through my mind, and bring, sometimes it is a smell, a sense of a perfume. And that immediately clicks with you because it is the one that you told your grandma, your caretaker, your kid, your husband that you love the most. Or or I see a place, it shows and it presents to me in so many different ways. Maybe this beautiful house that you had and we just sat in the living room every single night in the sofa. That is what I get to see. And then you know that the message you will receive comes from that person, and that person is here. I always do like this meditation prior to our session, on which I start calling out your name. I know it sounds fun. It's like being on a train station and saying, relatives and whomever wants to give a message to this person we'll have the session with, please present. And you have no idea how beautiful this is. I even write down the names and the list and present it to you, just in case one of those may or may not have relationship to you. And we start calling out them. Once we call them out, messages will come and we will understand. Don't forget, understand and liberate, because the source of pain comes from unknowing. So whenever you know, you heal, you repair, and you take the will back again in your life. I don't know, Mirna, if we have some questions. I hope, and I kind of feel we do. So I will hand out the word to you now.
Thank you, Diego. It's a pleasure to hear you. It's a pleasure to... Oh, you cannot hear me? I am going to open my microphone and you can hear me now, right? Thank you. As I listen to you, there's one thing that I've been thinking, and it's that in all the opportunities that we have had the chance to speak with people that share your gift, they all come to a conclusion, and they all say, like, you can do that too. They all tell us, like, if you listen, you can do that too. So my question is, or let me phrase it better, like, you have had access to this invisible world forever, but you didn't incorporate that world into the relationships you had with the outside world. You kept it quiet, you kept it for yourself, of course, because there's a lot of prejudice and people are not probably not ready to deal with all that comes with it. Now, if we all have that, because I kind of feel we do, like I kind of feel that we are actually wired to feel the invisible, because animals do. All other animals know when there's something iffy, when the energy is not nice, and they feel it in the bark and they growl. Why? What is the purpose for us disconnecting from that source of information that is there, is available, but why are we so reluctant to hear, to listen, to see, and actually keep a even flow with that world, if it would be so much easier for us to navigate this world? Is there a purpose for it?
Erna, I love your question. It kind of brings back the memories on those days I was asking exactly whatever voices I was hearing, I was listening to, what do you want? I remember that was the first question I asked them. What can I do for you? What do you want? I kept those skeletons in the closet. I cannot tell you, over 20 years. Every time I passed through a wall, a door, a space, a living room, a closet, whatever, I found and I saw these entities, these souls, these transcended souls. And you're right. Even being Latin American and even being born in an ultra conservative family, telling people that you see dead people is not easy. Transmitting or passing information into someone else that comes from someone who passed out is even harder. But maybe sometimes we just don't listen because we're not asking the right questions. Like I said before, if we're connected and we keep every single day going our day to day through the feelings and the wantings, it is so difficult to connect with this ulterior, superior emotional place because it has a different frequency of vibration. So when you stop for a moment and you bring the presence of your essence into the present moment, and you say, today I want nothing because I desire to get to understand better. What am I here for? What is my purpose? Please, I'm open now. I'm opening up my energy and I am willing to listen. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we use it more, even if it is 1, that is 2. So my advice, if you feel like you have it, stop feeling and stop asking yourself so many times, because we do it all the time. Do I have it? No, I don't. And what if I get it? If we get all the things we want, imagine what life will be like. It will be a total disaster. One of the greatest gurus in India, and I really admire this person, says that he wishes us not to achieve 90% of the things we want, because our life will be a total disaster. So instead of cutting and editing and stitching pieces of our life together, let's just make one thing. Say it. Today, I hereby present in this present moment and my essence all together, my past, my present, and my future, open up and ask transcendence and ask the global universal energy in this universe to show me and to let me fulfill my destiny. We all have different gifts. You don't need to be a medium in order to bring health or happiness to others. Maybe your gift is be able to interview and transmit information through a platform that will heal others or will bring a different state of consciousness. So that is the magic in you. The way you do it, Mirna, the way you talk to others, the real questions, the interesting questions you make are the true magical and practical words you can proceed in order for others to help and receive information. So we all have gifts, but very few of us get in touch with them. The first and foremost important thing here is to ask the right questions. Stop whinging for a second. You know, we tend to say, but I got this, I wanted that. You know, like little kids on a grocery shop, wanting and wanting. You know, I pass from marshmallows to the lollipop and then chewing gum. And then I end up having like this really terrible, you know, like stomach ache. And then, you know, what's next? So wanting is not that good because it brings always frustration. But desiring brings flowing. Desiring and getting what we really desire in life will let us flow through life because it's taking us in the right direction.
Thank you.
We are reluctant because we're afraid at the end of the day of actually being heard and given what we really want.
Oh, wow. I kind of understand why we could be afraid of something that is so strong. There's so much power, and holding power can be intimidating. Like, we can intimidate ourselves. Now, you are able to, like, through your therapy, you're able to decode the pain of the physical body. You're able to, like, reverse engineer where is that pain coming from. And what I wanted to ask you is, from your perspective, from your experience and what you've been through, how do you pull that thread from a pain until you get to, okay, this is what's happening, you have a problem at home, or there is a conflict with a certain family member. How do you pull that thread, and how did you learn to go and to be so precise on it? Because I do know that you can be very specific.
Thank you so much, Mirna. Thank you for giving me the credit of that part. Well, here comes the mediumship in terms of being able to hear and translate what I'm seeing or what is being shown to me through the tarot cards, through the major arcans. So I'm going to say this, and I hope I can explain myself well. It's like we have a soul, but the little wrinkles, you know how fabric works, and you know how easy it is to get it all like straightened up. You know, you pull up the sides, and then suddenly all the wrinkles fall. Let's see, healing the soul in terms of how does this happen, healing soul and expanding those wrinkles from the soul is so easy. But the hardest part, the difficult part, comes in all the build-up we as human beings, as little artichokes, have put layers and layers and layers on top of it to keep building, because that's what we do. Nature always finds its way, and we as human part of obeying your nature always kind of expand and grow. That's what we do. So if I can go deep into that through the knowledge of the transcendence messages and through the tarot cards and show you that maybe the thing you're overthinking is making you have this or X, Z or Y pain, then, like I said, when you click and you say, okay, in order for me to get rid of this situation, terrible, terrible, terrible pain, then I need to do this. And there comes the action. That's why I said transcendence asks us to stopping. We put on hold so many things throughout the day. We are all waiting. Let's just wait and see what happens. That I hear every single day through therapy. But I'm waiting to find a better work in order to get rid of this one and quit and finally get rid of my boss. Oh, I'm waiting to find out if I have a better relationship with my kids instead of sitting and talking and resolving and solving finally the issue of the monetary problem that they are bringing to my life. Or maybe I will wait until I am, like retired, and then I will move to an island and be happy and divorced from my husband, who I can't stand over the last 35 years. We're waiting and waiting and waiting, and while we wait, the piling up keeps on going. So the message comes straight away to you. Transcendence has very few time, very limited time, and the amount of energy that takes them and me and myself to get this link is so precise that it says 1, 2, or 3 words to you, and you know exactly what those words mean, and you know exactly now what to do in order to actually straighten up your life, straighten and unwrinkle this wrinkle that has grown in your soul.
Wow, thank you. As we reach the end of this time, it's very brief. I feel that there's so much more to be said, but we have to comply with the timing agreement. So, what would you like to leave us with? What do you want to be your closing thoughts?
Wow. Okay. This is it, and I'm actually kind of channeling at this moment. So the message is quite clear. I have heard in many, I can say like 95% of my sessions, when I am passing information through transcendence, it is always, it is so repeatedly going through my head, is there is no better feeling than being incarnated. There is no better moment than the one you have through your existence in a body. It is so different when you have no body. It is so different when you are out of this vessel. So use it instead of criticizing it, instead of repeating what you heard when you were a child, instead of looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, hey, you know what, I'm fat. I love myself, but if I didn't have this big cheekbones, if I didn't have this, many people want bigger breasts, smaller breasts, bigger hips, smaller hips. We're never happy. We're never happy with ourselves, but we do have a body. So use it, nourish it, care for it, and know that this body is only usable for a period of time. We do have expiration date written in our bodies. By the time we don't need it no more, and we have fulfilled our destiny, our mission, then the soul, this beautiful energy, will flow back again to where it belongs. So use it is for a limited time, and the more you do, in order to, the closer and the sooner you start really using it for the real purpose it has, the happier your life will be, and easier will be your transcending to the other place that is not that far away.
I love that you said that it's not that far away.
It's not that far away.
It's probably not even a step away. Thank you.
See a new reality, and then you start seeing them and hearing them. That is fantastic. So we're never alone. Please take that home with you. We are never, never alone.
Thank you, Diego. It's been a great pleasure to serve as a channel, to serve as an instrument that allowed you to be in front of so many people. And to the people that have been with us, I want to remind you, we're Mindalia.com. We are an international nonprofit organization. We are sharing conscious content on a daily basis. We come and share this time in English because we believe in the fact that, you know, high vibrational information can actually change the world. We're sending you a very big hug and all our gratitude, and we're gonna meet soon in the next Mindalia live streaming. Have a good day.